ओके सो वेलकम टू ईट स्लीप ड्रिंक क्रिकेट। और आज का डिस्कशन है द वन एंड ओनली इंडिया वर्सेस पाकिस्तान। मतलब ऐसा एक्साइटमेंट देखो, मतलब अमित सर तो मतलब वो तो वैसे ही पाकिस्तान को कहाँ से ऐसे निचोड़े वो देखते रहते हैं। अभिजीत सर तो भाई वो तो 2-3 दिन से बोल रहे हैं यार मेरे को तो बहुत बात करना है इसके ऊपर। हम तो वी मेट इन अ मॉल ऑल्सो, वहां पे भी यही बात हो रही थी। और सागर तो कुछ तो खबर लेके आए होंगे, तो फिर बस भास्कर पता नहीं क्यों नहीं आए, बट ठीक है चलो वो तो जब आ जाएंगे तो उनको भी इनवाइट कर लेंगे। सो सिंपल है भाई।
भास्कर बांग्लादेश में वोट करने गया है।
नहीं नहीं, हो गया ना, बट आई थिंक वो वोटिंग कंप्लीट हो गया ना, इलेक्शन तो।
खत्म हो गया। तो बांग्लादेश में भास्कर कहीं भी रह सकता है।
करेक्ट करेक्ट, बांग्लादेश भास्कर कहीं पे भी पाए जा सकते हैं, सही बात है। अच्छा तो चलो, मुद्दे की बात यह है कि इंडिया वर्सेस पाकिस्तान है संडे को। चाहे मतलब सी द रिकॉर्ड इज इंडिया 7 एंड पाकिस्तान 1 इन वर्ल्ड कप T20 आइज। बट जो भी है एक एक्साइटमेंट रहता है, यू कैन डिनाई द फैक्ट दैट देर इज एन एक्साइटमेंट, देर इज थ्रिल। एंड द लास्ट 3 T20I वर्ल्ड कप्स, whichever way you see it, has gone very, very close. I mean, so the last three, sorry, I think the one which Pakistan won, it was a pretty straightforward one. But the last two which India has won in World Cups, they have been very, मतलब मेलबर्न वाला तो मतलब one of the greatest T20I matches, and जो यूएस में भी हुआ वो भी काफी मतलब क्लोज ही था, ऐसा नहीं कह सकते कि नहीं हुआ था करके। ओडीआई में ऑब्वियसली इंडिया काफी अहेड है। सो बट वन थिंग विच यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड इज कि एशिया कप में अभी इंडिया पाकिस्तान मैच हुआ, T20 मैच हुआ, और उसमें इंडिया रियली वन इट प्रीटी इजली। फाइनल थोड़ा सा थ्रिलिंग था, बट आई थिंक द स्कोर्स वाज टू लो। इंडिया हैड द टाइम टू रिकवर एंड पोस्ट बैक। तो शुरू करता हूँ। आई मीन वी हैव वेरियस थिंग्स टू टॉक अबाउट, बट आई एम जस्ट ओपनिंग कमेंट्स लेते थे। ओपनिंग कमेंट्स में आई एम लुकिंग एट व्हाट इज द थ्रिल, व्हाट यू थिंक इज गोइंग टू हैपन। तो जनरली मैं स्टार्ट करता हूँ, तो पहला जैसे एडमिट किया मैं उससे स्टार्ट करूंगा, तो अभिजीत से स्टार्ट करता हूँ। पहला आप ही को एडमिट किया तो आपसे स्टार्ट करेंगे, तो बताएं अभिजीत क्या लगता है आपको।
So this is the biggest match this month actually. इसके बाद the next big matches will only be coming in the next month only. And it's a very paradox match क्योंकि actually इस मैच का कोई वेटेज नहीं है। इस मैच कोई भी जीते किसी को फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा। इंडिया अगर ये मैच जीते तो आई थिंक इंडियंस विल बी हैप्पी एंड एज हैपेंड इन द एशिया कप बिकॉज फॉर इंडिया इट्स अ मैच वेयर दे हैव nothing to gain, they have all to lose. This is a must win match for India. Okay, although again, as I said, this is the paradox. It's a must-win match for India, just like Asia Cup, because not just the cricket, the geopolitical tensions and the political side of it. The last 1 year, it means that unless India wins in a big way, Pakistan will claim victory. Even close match होगा, Pakistan will also claim victory. कि भाई हम तो तैयार नहीं थे, हम तो खेलने ही नहीं जाने वाले थे, and all that. So that was the problem in Asia Cup also. If India had lost that Asia Cup final, there would be worldwide narrative that Pakistan has thrashed India and badly thrashed India. So for India, this is a must-win match, and and for Pakistan, they have nothing to lose honestly, because if they lose, they have hundreds of excuses. हम तो खेलने नहीं वाले थे, हम प्रिपरेशन हमारा सही नहीं था, many things they can say. हम तो इंडिया में खेल नहीं पा रहे थे, हम तो बांग्लादेश भाई वालों के लिए सपोर्ट कर रहे थे and all that. But if Pakistan win, it will be pandemonium. So really, the worry is for India. Pakistan don't have anything to worry for this match. They play, even their team also is a very it's not a great team. I think they have bits and pieces players coming from number 5 itself. So man to man, there is no comparison. For any
We'll come to
parameter
that.
you pick,
We'll
yeah.
come to that.
So
We'll come to squad
yeah,
discussion जनरली। सो
right.
आपका, सो आप कह रहे हो कि मतलब बेसिकली इट इज फॉर इंडिया, एवरीथिंग फॉर इंडिया टू लूज। पाकिस्तान ओनली हैज टू गेन एंड गेन ओनली, अनलेस दे आर थ्रैश,
Absolutely.
अनलेस दे आर थ्रैश।
Unless they are thrashed, yeah.
ओके। सो अमित सर आपके पास आते हैं। सो आप तो
I think
फाइनली सो
let Sagar go first. I'll go after.
ओके, चलिए चलिए सागर आप बताएं। आप हाउ डू यू सी दिस मैच।
The first and foremost, I completely agree with Avijit over here. Nothing for India to actually gain because win lose it is not making any difference to the competitions as per se. More importantly, because had this Netherlands match Pakistan had lost, then it would have made a bit of a sense of this match. But now currently no. But again, at the same point of time, I also feel there is something which is brewing also. Agreed. Pakistan has everything to win in whatever sense, but at the same point of time, please understand, it's almost like in the 1990s where India used to play Pakistan. So Pakistan were expected to win, India were not expected to win. So when India won, it used to be a news. Here also, it'll be something of those stature, and it is already being built up on those lines. But at the same point of time, please understand, India will not take it lightly and will not take it lying down. It is, you're saying 7-1. If you talk about the World Cup history, it is 15-1. So, taking everything into consideration, whatever has happened, even in the 1990s, also, Pakistan could not beat India in the World Cups, at least, in the ICC trophies, at least. So, that's where I think there's a bit of pride over there. So, this team, and this team is also I mean the Indian team. Also, you'll have to understand is not a very very experienced team like people like the seniors. The so-called seniors are not there. Rohit and Jaddu and Kohli. So again, these guys will also try to prove something as a new team. They have been doing excellently well, and they will only like to stamp their authority going forward over here.
Right, right. Thanks, Sagar. Yeah, you're right. मतलब see, सबको for in an India Pakistan match, everybody wants to prove themselves. So उस हिसाब से तो मैं मानता हूँ कि there is everything what India has to take this very seriously and all. But one thing I have a difference of opinion. I don't think that it is not an experienced team. Indian team is really experienced. काफी experience है. या रोहित शर्मा विराट कोहली वो नहीं है. वो जो 24 में थे वो नहीं है. बट अदरवाइज काफी एक्सपीरियंस है. मतलब बहुत सालों से खेल रहे हैं लोग.
So
So,
when I meant experience, I meant India-Pakistan match experience.
हाँ या बट ठीक है एशिया कप
Comparatively
में
lesser than those guys.
हाँ वो तो हर किसी को तो है. चलिए अमित सर आपके
Hmm.
पास आते हैं. सो मेरा सवाल ये है कि सो थोड़ा सा आप यू टेक अ बैक स्टेप बैक एंड देन एक्सप्लेनर्स कि ये मैच जो हो रहा है ये फाइनली हुआ कैसे एंड इतना मतलब ड्रामेबाजी करने की पहले से ही सबको पता था. लास्ट पॉडकास्ट में भी यही डिस्कस हुआ था कि ये नहीं है मतलब ये खेलेंगे ही खेलेंगे मतलब इनको दे डोंट हैव अ चॉइस करके. तो इतना ड्रामा करके क्या मिला इन लोगों को मतलब व्हाट इज दैट. सो यू ब्रिंग इन दैट एंगल ऑल्सो.
So I think before I go to that angle, I think पहली बात तो ये कि uh, this Indian team is probably very different from the teams that we grew up watching, and who in a way were actually scared of Pakistan. I mean, I wouldn't mind admitting that, but I would also want to put this on record that this Indian team is used to beating Pakistan. So I think that makes a world of difference, and I think they are fearless. They are not scared, and the kind of cricket that they're playing, Pakistan is definitely worried this time. I mean, for after many years, for the first time, I'm watching Pakistani media closely, and there is a kind of a essence to say that अगर हम हार गए तो वो तो इट्स लाइक अ वेरी नॉर्मल थिंग. आई मीन उसमें कोई नई बात नहीं है. जीत गए तो हमें सेलिब्रेट करना है. So, that is the reality that India has actually taken them to. So, if you remember, till let's say 2 years back, the Asia Cup or whichever trophy we got a chance to play with them, in spite of losing every time, the media would keep coming back and saying, हाँ अगली बार देख लेंगे. 14 को हार गए, 21st को देख लेंगे. 21st को हार गए, 28 को देख लेंगे. And this is the first time when I'm seeing some of their media people saying that अब क्या करें भाई, किसी तरह इस बार जिता दो. So you have actually taken them to the cleaners in a way, if you ask me. But I also would admit agree with both Sagar and Avijit that, and it's a classic dialogue from that we heard from some people. I don't want to take names here, but they said that unfortunately India has to keep getting it right every time, and they just have to get it right once. So that is the agony that we will all have to live with, and I'm not really excited to live with that agony. So if they win, our eardrums are going to explode hearing their nonsense. So I would say that India is aware of that. The team will go in and they will beat. They will go all out. I have no doubt about it. Just waiting to hear an Abhishek, which I think Sagar and some other people might give us some extra news. But coming back to that drama that you asked me, I think let's face it, Rajiv. Whatever the Pakistani media claims, I have confirmed information that they were. I don't know about the bilateral, and that's something that I still don't have information on. But there was a definite ask for increase of revenue to get them in line with Australia and England, which was blatantly denied. and there was nothing else on the table that Pakistan had except for the revenue piece. The other information I won't be able to validate, but they were definitely pushing for the revenue, but ICC clearly said no. The information on the test part, I think that is also to some extent not very sure, because all the countries know that ICC only takes care of the final of the test championship. So it is not, they are no way involved with what happens during the rest of the championships. But Pakistan was definitely trying to, make hay while the sun shines, and they have not been successful. They will continue to push for this in the coming meeting as well, and that is the only reason that they were making all this drama. Let's face it. At the end of the day, the reality is that Bangladesh is still not playing the tournament. So that's where we stand, Rajeev.
Interesting. I have one question. Please answer that one. So, do you think because India is hosting this World Cup, do you think that they were just bit magnanimous and let Pakistan have their hold? Because फिर बाद में embarrassing हो सकता है करके ये सब मैं वर्ल्ड कप खत्म होने के बाद उनका कमर कसेंगे मतलब do you think it's going to
No,
happen?
I think India and BCCI both have taken a more magnanimous stand as such. They have kind of taken the big daddy stand, and I think that's the right thing to show Pakistan and everybody a place. BCCI stayed away from this. I mean, they are the host. They are letting ICC do the job, and I think Jai Shah handled it brilliantly. I think if you really ask me, the way he managed his resources, stayed away from all the banter that was coming from Pakistan, did not give one statement. I think that shows a lot of maturity. I think a lot of people are saying that he's just in his 30s, but I think he's smarter than a lot of people in 50s. So that's my admission on that particular part.
Nice, nice. Great, great. चलो, so let's come to the match part of it. So अभिजीत मैं आपके पास आता हूँ. So clearly, मतलब see, so there is one advantage what Pakistan has. It's playing all its games in Colombo. कर लिया squad. Mike Heason, he's a smart bloke. उसने बिल्कुल squad सही pick किया है. अब वो करेंगे कि नहीं करेंगे वो अलग बात है. But the resources जो जमा किया है वो correct जमा किया उसने. And so that's one part of it. The second part of it is कि अब ये सब एक ही खेल रहे हैं. India played in Champions Trophy in Dubai only. We saw what a major advantage it became, right? So do you think Pakistan has an advantage या वो बस हवा बना रहे हैं वो जैसे वो पॉज करके बॉल डालता है वो सब जो ड्रामे चल रहे हैं उस्मान तारिक के मतलब एंड आज तो अश्विन ने बोल दिया कि पॉज करेगा तो आप हट जाओ बेटर एंड देन इट कैन कॉज अ बिग ट्रबल अंपायर को पता ही नहीं क्या करना है. So, what do you say? What is your take on the squad of Pakistan and what are they trying to achieve? हमें Indian squad का तो पता है. So what do you think? What do you think?
Actually, the last 15 days, the news has been all about Pakistan only, honestly, including, the squad and including the way they were very close to losing to Netherlands. Yes, playing in Colombo will have its advantage, but I don't think, that should be a deterrent for India because, as you said some time ago, India are a very, very experienced squad. In fact, I heard somewhere that I think apart from Rinku Singh, everybody has played more than 80 or something T20s and all. So, somewhere, I'm not very sure what I heard it correctly, but it is a very, very experienced squad. I don't think that is a problem. Plus, India has all the armory. The funny thing is, yesterday I was seeing a program where Monty Panesar, Sanjay Manjarekar, Umesh Yadav, and Srishant were, they were in the panel. And they actually said the Shaheen Shafridi is gone. Shaheen Shafridi is going to go downhill from here. Basically, the discussion was about Arshdeep Singh. They said, no, Arshdeep Singh is fine. It's just a form thing. But Shaheen Shafridi is going down. But the main comment in that program came from Monty Panesar. Monty Panesar said that Bumrah should be dropped for this match. So everybody wondered why Bumrah. He's the world's number one bowler. He said that Kuldeep Yadav should be played because, Colombo, you need a spinner. So they all came back and said, boss, but why Bumrah should be dropped? He said, boss, Bumrah should be rested for the more important games. The moment he said Bumrah should be rested for the more important, everybody burst out in laughter. So, but Monty Panesar was not ruffled. He said, no, this is not a big game. And I think India will beat Pakistan any which way you look at it. And as I said, their middle order starts, their bits and pieces, players start from the middle order. Their captain, who actually doesn't deserve a place in the 11, Agha Salman, I think is coming one down these days. So that's a bit of a joke. Apart from Shahib Zada Farhan, who is genuinely one player who has mastered Bumrah. It's the, story within the big story. I don't think there are too much scares in that team. Of course, India can have an off day. India, in fact, in the last 15 days, the only news India made was batting collapses in their two matches versus Namibia and the other team. I'm forgetting the name. So if you look at that perspective, I think But again, all these things go out of the window on the day of the toss. On the day of the toss, all of us will be sitting and we want only an Indian win, that too a comprehensive Indian win. Else, ये credit start हो जाएगा 1971 से. If Pakistan even take the match close, they will say 1971 we won Kargil, we won this, we won. So it happens like that. So I think there's no comparison between. No, it will be. I'm serious. I mean, it's not a. Pakistan media has already started saying that Abhishek and Ishan के बैट में either chip है बोला है या बैट का साइज कुछ है. It should be sent for forensics मतलब नेटफ्लिक्स का ओटीटी बन सकता है इसके ऊपर. The sort of comments some of their ex cricketers say. So it's a bit of a joke, but come the match, we have no choice. We have nothing to gain, and Pakistan have everything to gain, and we have to win. Come what may. Rajeev.
15 वाला मैच चाहिए आगा जी, 15 वाला मैच चाहिए आगा जी। ले सागर, आपके पास आते हैं तो एक सो अमित तो ऑलरेडी पूछ ही रहे थे, तो आप ही आंसर कर दीजिए कि इंडियन स्क्वाड में अभिषेक शर्मा खेलेगा, व्हाट इज द 11? देयर इज अ न्यूज दैट प्रोबब्ली अर्शदीप विल बी ड्रॉप्ड एंड कुलदीप विल बी टेकन, because that's why Hardik bowled the first over and Shivam Dube bowled in the power play, because they want to play. And there is also this news that Rinku may be dropped and this fellow अपना Washington Sundar,
Washington.
हाँ, ताकि 4 स्पिनर
Washington.
5 स्पिनर खेल सकें। तो आप व्हाट इज योर न्यूज, इंडियन स्क्वाड कैसा लगेगा?
Not so I just one piece of information which I was having a offline discussion with someone, so I got to know somebody who's already in Sri Lanka. So he told me that Abhishek did practice today. So that was first thing, first point. Abhishek was there in the dugout yesterday when the match was on. All through, he was not in the hospital. Sorry, not in the hotel. Also, he was there in the dugout. Uh, Today, he did a bit of batting practice already because India has already reached, and they have already done the first evening session. And I heard that Abhishek was there on the ground and did his. So first thing first over there. So I personally think Abhishek will play. This is, and things may develop tomorrow again, depending on how he's, because uh, let's understand what he went through. He went through a stomach bug, which effectively actually led to a loss of body weight, which is for a cricketer and for a sportsman is very important because if you lose weight, you lose body quotient in your body, you inevitably have loss of power in your muscles. So that becomes important, not for people like us who just have to walk and sit and work, for those guys. The second part of the story is does Bumrah get dropped? I don't think so because that's if Bumrah has to be dropped, Bumrah will get dropped in the next match or maybe rested. If I'm not saying dropped, I may say maybe rested for the next match for the Super 8s. Not in this match because come what may, however Monty Panesar wants to say or say that, okay, it's okay, India will win, but we've seen a lot of, and it's a match of cricket. Let's not go one step ahead of, let's treat everybody in the same keel over here before the match starts at least. Number three, Rinku Singh getting dropped is actually a possibility, not the other way around of Arshdeep getting dropped. Because if Arshdeep gets dropped and Kuldeep comes in, it's a spinner, but India will not, there's no point in having 4 spinners in that case. So Rinku not playing and Washington coming in is a probability purely because there's Shaibzada Farhan, who's a good player of pace bowling, and as already mentioned by Avijit, that I don't believe he has mastered Bumrah. To be very honest, it's we are talking of only 3 matches. I personally don't think so. It's a T20 match. Once it's a 50 over match, he was found out over there, anyways. So I don't think that's how the thing works over here. Another player from the Pakistani team, which I have or everybody has to keep an eye on, very unassuming, is Saim Ayub. Has been underperforming, but on his day can be extremely dangerous when it comes not because of the way he will blast his way into a 50 of 20 balls or something like that, but he's the, if I can say so, he is the Babar Azam of 5 years back of this Pakistani team. At the same point of time, if Pakistan keeps on playing Babar Azam, that's an advantage to any team. Forget about So you're basically gifting 10 balls and a wicket for basically nothing. So taking all this into consideration, I'm not going into the man-to-man. That's not the question over here. My point of view is India will feel their best team. Samson, I feel, will be sitting out. He has to sit out. Abhishek comes in, even if it is 80% or 90%, he comes in. Washington is a thing which is of a reality, can be a reality, but not Bumrah or for that matter, Ashdeep. That's my take on it.
Okay. Now
Rajiv.
that's a good this thing. But yeah, 8 बैटर्स तो कहीं से भी लेके आएगा इंडिया, सो वो तो हमको पता है कि 8 बैटर्स खेलना है इंडिया के लिए। नाउ अब आप कह रहे थे कि साईं मयूब 5 इयर्स बैक वाला बाबर आजम है करके। 5 साल पहले भी बाबर आजम जिम्बाब्वे के अगेंस्ट ही बना रहा था। आज भी बेचारा ने अब जिम्बाब्वे तो भाई आज तो अपसेट कर दिया है। वो तो नेपाल, या नेपाल भी नहीं, नेपाल तो आई थिंक उसके लिए बेस्ट टीम इटली है। इटली नहीं, इटली नेदरलैंड को मारा है। अरे भाई ये वर्ल्ड कप मतलब कमाल है भाई, ये तो ठीक है। सो आई गेट दैट पॉइंट, आई गेट द पॉइंट। ठीक है, बट आई एग्री विद अभिजीत दैट द पॉइंट इज कि पहला 4-5 लोग ही है। उसके बाद पाकिस्तान हैज अ वेरी वेरी वेपर थिन बैटिंग लाइनअप इफ दे बॉल वेल। शाहिबजादा को मैं बता रहा हूँ, शाहिबजादा, यार आप कह रहे हो कि शाहिबजादा जसप्रीत बुमराह को ये कर लिया, क्यों नहीं कह सकते कि उसने मास्टर कर लिया? हमने भी तो कहा था कि बालाजी ने मतलब शोएब अख्तर को ये किया, मास्टर किया करके 2003 में। हम नहीं कह रहे थे क्या?
एक छक्का मार दिया था
हाँ
भाई।
मारा था ना उसने, जबरदस्त छक्का मारा था लाहौर में।
देवाशीष मोहंती आज भी बोल रहा है कि मैंने सईद अनवर को सॉर्ट आउट करके रखा हुआ
हाँ
सॉर्ट
हाँ
आउट
कनाडा
कर
हाँ,
लिया था।
कनाडा में,
सही,
कनाडा में,
कनाडा में,
कनाडा में सहारा
बोल
एब्सोल्युटली।
कप,
सकते हैं,
सहारा कप।
बिल्कुल बोल
अरे
सकते
बोल बोल के आउट बोल्ड करता था वो भी सर।
हम्म।
हैं। चलो नहीं, तो अमित आपके पास आता हूँ। हाँ।
but
मैं,
Rajiv, coming to this one, I just
नहीं
want
नहीं,
to
आपसे
throw a
आप
word of
सवाल भी सुन
caution
लियो
here.
एंड
So
यू कैरी ऑन विद दिस थिंग। सर सुनिए, सवाल भी सुन लीजिए।
go on.
मेरा मेरा एक ही सवाल है कि चलिए मैन टू मैन सब ये कर लिया। मैं आई एम इन टोटल एग्रीमेंट विद ऑल दिस डिस्कशंस। बट एक चीज जो है, व्हाट दैट स्पिन थ्रेट, क्योंकि इंडिया डिड नॉट प्ले स्पिन वेल, लेट्स बी ऑनेस्ट। वो स्पिन में अटके, यूएस के साथ भी अटके, नमीबिया के साथ भी अटके। हाउ डू थिंक इंडिया कैन रिजॉल्व नाउ? अब 2 मैचेस हो गए, इंडिया इज एक्सपीरियंस इनफ टू कम आउट ऑफ इट। तो आप व्हाट डू यू हैव टू से अपार्ट फ्रॉम ऑफ कोर्स
No,
कैरिंग?
so I think spin, yes, there is definitely worry, but they are at least aware of this. So the problem what happens is if they are caught unaware. Now they know the problem. So my understanding, and today also, when I was checking, there is a lot of practice on spin that is going on. But the other important point to remember is that this is the Premier Asa, and this is going to be a different pitch. There is going to be some pace and bounce also in the early stages. This is the same place where Siraj wrecked Evok last time when he played there. And there is a definite juice. In fact, the news is from inside, which I have, is that in fact Pakistan is contemplating to bring in one pacer. They are looking at bringing either Naseem Shah, Shaheen Shah Afridi, like you rightly said, is something that is being questioned, and they are looking at bringing in Naseem Shah or maybe one of the other fast bowlers because they also strongly believe that there is a juice in the wicket. Now, the other question on the advantage, I don't think there's too much of advantage. Pakistan is getting a night practice, we are getting a night practice. And Pakistan has played in the Sinhalese stadium club ground. This is the first time they are playing in Premadas. So they might be having an advantage of the weather and the understanding, but the weather is there's nothing really great to get used to the weather. It only rains or it doesn't rain. There's no in between.
True,
So
true.
that's pretty much how it is. So and the good part is that India, the flight is not too long, so they are pretty comfortable. They have had a little night out session. So from that standpoint, we are pretty good. I don't think that Rinku Singh should be dropped. I mean, I personally like him, and unfortunately, he's not getting enough chances. But you're right. I think if assessing the pitch, Washi has a good chance. And to me, I really believe that India will put in their best team out. I mean, there is no other way that they will go with. Pakistan is likely to try. There's an interesting player apart from Usman Tariq. I don't want to talk about him. We have spoken enough, so I think he's already got enough limelight. But there's another player called Khaja Nafe. Now he's a young talent, and there is a good chance that they might put him in. And typically, we have always seen in India-Pakistan matches that over the years, these are these first timers who normally starting from Rizwan ul Zaman to Jahid Fazal, to you name some serious players who come and make that mark in that first match. So he's a good talent. I watched him from under 19. He's a good player. So he might get a start, and that's the inside news. Rest of the stuff, I think what Sagar and Avijit have covered is pretty much there. So nothing more to add from the team standpoint, Rajiv. But that's the overall situation that we stand with for 50.
Great, great, great. So thanks. I think we have covered India Pakistan enough. Now I want to go to the World Cup also. World Cup भी हुआ है तो उसकी भी बातें करते हैं. तो अभिजीत मैं आपसे start करता हूँ. So you are very very disappointed and to an extent you were angry also with Afghanistan that how they blew up their chances. But it is also a World Cup where things went is going very awry. Now Netherlands challenged Pakistan. Nepal almost pulled off something against England, and I would say they blew it up. That was their best chance. Italy suddenly beat Nepal with 10 wickets, and today USA is they are bossing the game against Netherlands, who made it to the 50-over World Cup, but US is bossing that game.
I think the game is done. It's 97 for 9. It's pretty much done. Okay.
Yeah, right. So what I'm saying is that this World Cup has been, it's not going to a certain way it has to. The only upset happened today with Zimbabwe pulling off the upset, but Zimbabwe has done this before. But the the minnows are pushing above the weight, including US pushing India, Namibia also having their moments against India, and every team has now got a fair measure of what's going to happen. But you were very upset with Afghanistan, so you take it on. I mean, what is your thoughts on this World Cup, and why do you think Afghanistan? You think you're very angry with Afghanistan? Why do you think they blew
So,
it
so
up?
actually, yeah. So actually, these the associates they will need a 1983 moment, to go up to the next level. And we are tired of watching the same 8 teams play cricket in and out. We need new and new teams coming. But in Afghanistan case, they have a special case, because they generally get a lot of home support in India. That's a blessing. I don't think there's any other team in the world who gets outside India who gets home support in India. Plus, in the 2023 World Cup, they had practice facilities in Noida specifically made for them. 23 World Cup was actually for them to at least reach the semi-final. And they had a couple of good results, but they had some horrendous results also. And that's where I feel that, these associates, they really go bad. Even if I look at that Afghanistan match versus South Africa, Afghanistan had more moments to win that match than what South Africa had. And I don't still find the reason why Gurbaz wasn't the chosen first choice batter for the Super Over. I don't have an idea why Rashid Khan wasn't the first choice bowler for the Super Over. Not to forget the way, they took the last run in the normal 20 overs play. There was no dive, nothing. It was a very casual bat pushing, and then it became a run out. It actually angers me. And that anger has started from that 2023 match versus Maxwell, where honestly, Afghanistan should have closed that match, won by some 100 runs or something like that. But they kept dropping sitters, they kept bowling short. Same, if you see with Netherlands had their moment versus Pakistan. They had to take a catch. And, when you drop a simple catch, which is the one opportunity you're getting in 4 years to get the catch and not knock, but put Pakistan on the brink and then, take the next step. सिर्फ जिम्बाब्वे का भी एक रिजल्ट से नहीं काम होगा. जिम्बाब्वे विनिंग टुडे वाज अ ग्रैंड विन. They had their one of the premier bowlers Nagarwa injured just before the match. They had Sikandar Raza, the premier batter and premier bowler, who got injured during the match. So he hardly, I think he bowled 1 over or something like that. And yet they pulled off stunning catches. They really put their heart. But people will forget this if they are not able to beat Ireland. If they beat Ireland and Australia lose to Sri Lanka, then Zimbabwe goes to the next. And that will be a positive step forward. And associates need to step up, because as of now, the associates look like just making up the numbers. This is a World Cup. This is the easiest format of cricket. This is not test cricket, where you need years and years of skill. If I'm not wrong, in 2007, India were not bullish on getting into the T20 circuit, because that time India felt that we didn't have power hitters. Our body is built such a way that we can't do power hitting. And then we were not favorites for the 2007 World Cup, but we won the 2007 World Cup. That time the narrative was that ये तो power hitting वाला format है, इसमें only people with broad shoulders and good build, they can only hit their way through. But look at how things change. And I always thought these European teams who are very well built, they can excel in this T20 format. This is not test cricket. This is not one day. इसमें कोई technique defense आपका test नहीं होता है to that extent. So it's been very disappointing, and they get all the support. I don't think there's any more support that ICC can do. They get enough games. For example, Afghanistan, almost 80% of Afghanistan's players play T20 leagues all over the world. भाई इससे ज्यादा practice आपको क्या चाहिए? And still you choke in the in once in a lifetime opportunities. I know they reached the semi-finals of the T20 previous T20 World Cup, but that was because in West Indies, the pitches were quite bad and bowling, the batting was getting evened out of teams. But yeah, I think so. So that's it. Netherlands dropped a catch of Pakistan. Today they are out of the World Cup. It is as tough for them like that. So if they don't pull up their socks and just keep making up the numbers, it makes for a very boring, cricket tournaments. Rajiv.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. That last run, I mean, there was one run to go and 2 runs to go. That one run should have been taken very smartly. There were two balls also, so they could have. I mean, Afghanistan just botched it up.
Nabी नबी के साथ कुछ करो यार, wherever they need they just put him यार, बेचारा bowling भी करेगा, बैटिंग भी करेगा, फील्डिंग में भी लगाओगे उसको, leave it them and then
नहीं
match
नहीं, लेकिन
खत्म हो
वो
जाएगी.
शायद हट रहा ही नहीं
So
है, वो हट रहा ही नहीं है.
yeah, I mean the poor guy, I mean sending him out to bat at that point in time was too much of pressure on him. But I think, I mean, I agree
Yeah.
with Vijit, but Afghanistan just blew it up. I mean, I
Yeah.
haven't seen a
True.
bigger balloon burst,
True.
than what Afghanistan did. Very disappointing. I mean,
Very
I could
disappointing.
see Rashid was furious. I think this last run that you're talking about,
Yeah.
I saw that one clip and he was actually telling the guy that why didn't you jump or why didn't you slide? I mean, that was the question that he was asking the batter. I mean, he just had to drive, and I think they had won the match.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a disaster if you really ask me. But yeah, I think that's how things stand. Rajiv.
Yeah. So why don't you continue and just tell what is your take on this World Cup? Anything special? You think Super
Yeah,
8 is?
I have a little, maybe softer aspect and little soft part for the associate nations, because the problem is that these are the only places or these are the only times when they will get a chance to at least come and participate and feel that occasion. I don't know how much of games that they might get otherwise in terms of bilaterals or other places, and I think this is the only way that they will come. But I think maybe the one thing that probably ICC can do a little bit more is to create more professionals in their team across the countries. I think that is something that was on the part of the ICC agenda in the coming. That it is there on the agenda that they are trying to see how they can promote more professionalism, because I think talent is there. I mean, if you look at Italy, or I mean, let's 70% of people are from the Asian region itself in all these countries. So whether you take Italy or whether you take any of these countries, but I think if they actually dedicate and they create some professionals out of these, the talent is there. So I do believe that maybe in the coming times we should see, and I don't see any other way because of the way cricket is played, where it's still very limited. I think the Olympics will give a lot more visibility. So hoping that we get more good teams coming through, and again, fingers crossed. But I still believe that there is one. I said that on the first day that this is a T20 game, and you will see some of these things happening. I mean, for us, West Indies beating England was also like a big thing. Although I still feel strongly that they are brute force, and on their day they can just kind of finish off any team. I'm still scared of that Braithwaite innings that I saw, and still get goosebumps looking at it. And I think what Holder was doing that day was pretty similar to that. So my take is that we'll still have some more interesting games coming up, and just hope that we see the best four teams in the semis. I mean, that's my only take, Rajiv.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree with you that I also have my heart goes out to associate nations. उनके लिए तो थोड़ा ट्रबल है यार. उतना अपॉर्चुनिटीज नहीं मिलता. सडनली आप कहीं और खेल रहे हो, सडनली यहाँ खेल रहे हो, तो थोड़ा चेंज ऑफ ये सब होता है. बट अफगानिस्तान दे बॉस्ड अप. दे बॉस्ड अप. देयर इज नो एक्सक्यूज. मतलब बहुत ही घटिया स्ट्रेटजीज था उनका. बट एनीवेज दैट हैपेंस. सो सागर, व्हाट्स योर टेक? हाउ इज द वर्ल्ड कप गोइंग ऑन? व्हाट डू
Uh,
यू थिंक?
I have a suggestion. मैंने World Cup से पहले भी, I mean, if wherever and whoever listens to this podcast, actually, a suggestion. I think ICC, while it's not in the purview, I think the IPLs and the BBLs and the SAT20s should ensure that there is every team playing 11 should have one associate team member player. So if you have, say, for example, in that case, if you have one associate player from every team, let's pick up the IPL. There will be at least 10 players who will eight, what is it, 10, right? At least 10 associate players who will be getting this feel of being there. And it is not just one associate that the team has to pay. The team, say for example, a KKR or a Mumbai Indians, will be picking at least two associate players. And think of it that they will be sharing the dressing room with the stalwarts and T20 stalwarts across the world and the coaching staff also. So these kind of mistakes which Afghanistan made, these kind of nervous issues which Max O'Dowd, a player like Max O'Dowd and Baz Delete actually did from the Netherlands side. These will, I'm not saying it can happen in a game of cricket, but at least there is an opportunity, then these exposures will help them to build up for the future. That's something which needs to be done. I mean, for the betterment of cricket, yes, it needs to be competitive, but why not? If it's a even playing ground, everybody has one associate player. Yeah, tell me.
एक ही था भाई। देखो, आईपीएल हो, पीएसएल हो, बीबीएल हो, ये सब धंधा है। उसमें एसोसिएट नेचर कहाँ से आ सकता है? उसको जो सही लगता है वो ही करेगा। आई थिंक आईसीसी का
No,
बनता है कि दे गिव सम बायलैटरल टूर्नामेंट्स और दे फाइंड एक ट्राई नेशन करें। यू वोंट बिलीव 23 वर्ल्ड कप से पहले जो राउंड रॉबिन हुआ जिसमें वेस्ट इंडीज गॉट नॉकड आउट एंड नेदरलैंड्स केम एज द
Hmm.
10th टीम, वाज अ फैंटास्टिक टूर्नामेंट।
yeah,
ऐसा
I
आप
saw
कुछ,
that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
हाँ,
true, true,
वैसा
true.
कुछ करें तो
Very
सही
true.
रहेगा। हाँ,
Mhm.
ये तो भाई
आप
बाकी
देखो,
तो
ये
धंधा है
जैसे
तो वो तो थोड़ी करेगा।
नहीं, एक और
ठीक
चीज है,
है, मतलब वो धंधे।
एक और चीज है,
सॉरी,
एसोसिएट
गो
मेंबर्स को
अहेड।
नहीं लेगा बिकॉज अ लोकल कंट्री विल से दैट आई रादर प्ले अ यंगस्टर, आई रादर डिग आउट अ वैभव सूर्यवंशी फ्रॉम माय ओन टैलेंट पूल देन मैं नेदरलैंड का एक प्लेयर को खिलाऊं फॉर एग्जांपल, और बांग्लादेश को। बाय द वे बांग्लादेश भी एसोसिएट नेशन ही है, लुकिंग एट देयर
हाँ, हाँ।
परफॉर्मेंसेस।
नहीं, I mean, yeah, I take your point. No, I mean, financially it doesn't make much sense, but I was thinking aloud. This was one. The other thing which was always crossing my mind is to have a league like, I mean, not the FIH has it. It's currently on currently. जहाँ पे आपका all playing nations, it is they play a round robin sort of a tournament from around the year at different places. अब एक जगह पे एक कंट्री में तीन कंट्री को ला दो, वहां पे एक एक कंट्री दो दो बग करके मैच खेल लेता है, एंड दिस बिकम्स अ सॉर्ट ऑफ अ राउंड, एक एक कुछ भी टूर्नामेंट। I mean, see, there's
UEFA
no
UEFA Nations
point.
Cup,
I'm
like a UEFA Nations Cup.
UEFA Nations Cup, something on those lines. Because see, there's no point in playing a Nepal against a. 2 साल में एक बार वर्ल्ड कप खेल लिया, उसके बाद नेपाल प्लेज आयरलैंड, आयरलैंड प्लेज पाकिस्तान, सॉरी नॉट पाकिस्तान, ओके दे कैन स्टिल प्ले, सेम कैटेगरी का ही हो गया अभी, बट आयरलैंड पे प्लेज फॉर दैट मैटर, इटली, और इटली प्लेज नमीबिया, वो उससे नहीं चलेगा। यू हैव टू हैव these guys playing the bigger guys and
सर सर
maybe
सर,
learning from their mistakes. Hmm.
एक्चुअली ना हमारे पास टाइम खत्म हो गया है तो
हाँ, टाइम
आई
खत्म हो
गेट द
गया।
पॉइंट। so I think all
Yeah.
of us, if I ask everybody, we will all say India will win the match on Sunday. So उसमें I won't get into the thing कि कौन क्या बोल रहा है करके, so we all know that. So let's hope to have a great match, and thank you guys for doing this, and I appreciate all the listeners also who listen to us. So thank you
Thank
and
you.
good night. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.